two ladies walked by me on the other side of the street, and this one lady said, "Hello, fellow human being." I thought that was rather interesting. I'd never been addressed quite that way, and I said, "Well, hello, fellow human being, nice to see you." And we just both smiled and walked our way. So I know this is a scam baiting channel, and we have a lot of fun doing that, but you can't scam bait all the time. And in fact, I've gotten very few calls lately, so that's been pretty sparse on the whole agenda of what to do. So I like to go out on a daily basis, especially during this nice weather, and walk. And I will walk probably a couple of miles, maybe more, every day. And I don't really time myself. I just like to walk, and it gives me time to think. And here it is, late March, and we are still under our quarantine, our lockdown for the coronavirus, and so I'm sure the people I'll encounter today will keep our good safe distancing and say hello. And I'll see some neighbors I know and some I don't. Just the other day I had an interesting walk. Two ladies walked by me on the other side of the street, and this one lady said, "Hello, fellow human being." I thought that was rather interesting. I'd never been addressed quite that way, and I said, "Well, hello, fellow human being, nice to see you." And we just both smiled and walked our way, went on our way. So I do live in an interesting neighborhood, so you get to see a little bit of it here as we stroll by, and I am ready to go out for my walk. Well, this part of town where I live was incorporated into the city, I'd say somewhere in the 1940s, probably post-war situation. Almost all the houses you'll see along this way were built right after World War II for the returning servicemen and their families that grew up in this area. We're a typical Midwestern city. Wonderful thing about this, no homeowners association. If you like your homeowners association, good for you. I'm not a fan of them. And that's the way we are in this part of town. The part of town I live in is called Waldo, and it's named after the early developer of this area. He owned a lot of property here, and his name was Waldo, and so he named it after himself, and eventually it was incorporated into the city. We have a lot of different parts of town: Marlboro, Dodson, Westport, all these little places that will either unincorporated or incorporated themselves into small cities, were absorbed in the larger city of Kansas City. That's where we live in this area here. And like I said, this is post-World War II housing. Nice thing about this, you know what? Every house is pretty much different. It's not cookie cutter. Now, if you like the same kind of cookie cutter house, good for you. We're all different. I just like living out where pretty unique. Actually, we're all kind of unique people out here. I mean, I think my crazy habit of scam baiting is probably pretty mild compared to some of my neighbors. But they all do it legally, and they're all good people. And we have a lot of fun. So I thought I'd take a quick break here. I really didn't need one, just to stop and kind of show you the neighborhood. This place here is an addition to an old school. Again, baby boomers. This was built actually in the 1930s, a school, not this part. This is the new addition to it. It's no longer a school because there aren't that many kids in the neighborhood to go to it, and is now some kind of social service agency. And again, that's the way of the baby boomers situation. Just not too far from here, I think several blocks over, is another school that was knocked down, built for the baby boomers after World War II. Served us all quite well, and they knocked it down, and they built, in a sign of the times, they built a new building in its place, became a retirement home, an assisted living facility. So probably some of the same people that went there as a kid in elementary school are now living in another building, but on the same property as an assisted living facility. So anyway, sign of the times. Here we go here. UPS truck directly in front of me, still making his deliveries. So this is late March. I think it's March 29th. I think it's March 30th. I didn't look at the calendar this morning. But Nice weather, right at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful day for a walk. So there you see that facility there. Used to be a school. The older part of the school you don't see here. This is the newer part. It's the newer facility of it, but it was reconverted from a school to a social service agency as a sign of the times. It's the way it is. So here you can see the variety of the neighborhood I live in here. And this is why I like it here. Here's a small business area that was right on the corner of near where I live, and this is the back view of it. And you get a pan shot here, and you'll see the different types of houses. So here on the right is a Spanish-looking style house, very southwestern U.S. looking house, and in the back here you see the more wooden frame, more traditional style New England type houses that even though here in the Midwest. So it's just it's a different variety of housing. That's why I said before there's no two places and these no two houses look alike. It keeps it interesting in this neighborhood. That's why I like to walk around my neighborhood. Now I'll go outside of the neighborhood and walk other places. But it's just an interesting, it's a fun neighborhood to live in. I've enjoyed living here for many years, and I imagine when I croak, they're going to carry my body out of my house, and I'll be happy to have died there, But I guess that's a grisly thing to think about on a nice day to walk. But yeah, it's something you think about when you go out for a walk. You do a lot of thinking. So we'll keep walking. So here's something interesting here. The stop sign. Stop signs aren't all that interesting. You just stop for them, or sometimes not. Depends on if there's a cop nearby. But let that car go by. We'll focus a little better. So, the things you take for granted in life. Stop signs. Everybody takes it. Stop signs been there forever. Well, not really. They were first used, I think, in the state of Michigan in 1915. And they were originally white with black letters. And then sometime early 20s, they switched over to being yellow with black letters. And then in the mid-50s, early 50s, they became red with white letters. I can remember, I'm old enough to remember as a kid, when the stop signs were still yellow with black letters here in this part of the world. And eventually they started all going red with white letters. I remember that happened to the toward the late 50s here in this Midwestern part of the United States. So a little bit of trivia about stop signs. It's kind of fun. Things like this you makes you think when you go out for a walk on these days. So something to think about when you're walking along. Not deep thoughts like on Saturday Night Live, but I guess they're deep enough for right now. And enjoy just thinking about it and keeping things light, and keep your mind off the crazy things going on in the world. By the way, I hope everybody is social distancing and using good safety out there. I haven't got any calls from the scammers at all today, which is actually a relief. But I kind of miss doing that because I like to pick on them. And I'm getting once in a while, but maybe you're experiencing the same thing. These scammers are calling, and once you answer, they hang up. And that's happened numerous times, in fact, more often than not lately. So I thought, well, I'll go to plan B and do some other videos. And, so that's what I'm doing, really. It's the reason I'm doing it. Hey, here's that stop. Here's another stop sign. Okay, again, one of those things to think about. And I haven't really counted any squirrels today. I really haven't seen too many, actually, to count. If I were counting squirrels today, I wouldn't have too many to count. And but sometimes I'll count how many people are out walking their dogs, or any cats I see in the neighborhood, or whatever it may be. I hope I don't see cats or dogs wandering around alone in the neighborhood. I hope they're inside, and I hope somebody's taking care of them, because I'm a big animal lover. And my wife and I have had cats for all the 45 years that we've been married. We've always had cats and taken good care of them. Hope you do too. But anyway, this is, like I said, no two houses are the same in this neighborhood, really. I mean, I can honestly say that. And the style of my house is more of a New England brick. And guy right next to me is more of a frame house. Down the way, more of a southwestern adobe style. So, and again, nice thing, no homeowners associations. I think that's a wonderful thing for the part of town we live in. So anyway, we'll just keep moving on here. So So much for some more random thoughts. Well, I made it back from my walk, safe and sound. I'd say it was a couple of miles and took me a fair amount of time, nothing heavy duty. I sure enjoyed it. When I was younger, my wife and I used to do a lot of running and bicycling. Did quite a bit of aerobic cardio work with the bicycles. We liked doing that. We would ride for miles and miles and certainly enjoyed it. But as I've gotten older and all the injuries I've incurred playing sports, I can't ride a bike very well anymore, and I sure as heck can't run, so I'll walk. Now it's such a beautiful day. Had to come outside and enjoy the day the good Lord has given us and take a nice walk in it and see some of my neighbors and have fun. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It wasn't scam baiting, but it was just something different, and you know, you can't do scam baiting all the time, but probably that's a good thing. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video.